into the next hour. And also, if any of you would like to change your name so we can see where who you are and where you are calling in from, it's always really nice to see where everyone is, because this is such a global community. The embodiment community is global, and the EYP is all over the whole world. So really nice to see where you are. So let's have a look.
And if you are watching this on a replay on like the Facebook group or something, skip ahead 2 minutes and you can get to the meat or vegan alternative meat of the session.
And for those of you who are with us on Zoom, it would be lovely to see you as well. So if you would like to turn your cameras on, obviously it is your choice, but it makes it more of an interactive experience for us all, and especially for Antonia, who's going to deliver the session, to actually see some sort of reaction and feedback from you all. But yeah, nice to see your faces. How are you all doing? How do you find yourself? So if you want to put in the chat one word or thumbs up or a bit of a where are you energetically. So we're in day 2. Here in the UK, we're at midday. So wherever, depending on where you're coming in from, it will also, the time of day can have an influence on how this lands. So yeah, if you want to put in, if you want to put on your name where you're from, not where you're from, but where you're calling in from, or in the chat. And also if you want to put it on gallery view so you can see who you are going to be spending the next hour with.
Alrighty, I'll get ready to press record here, Jane. You can intro things and tell us what's going on.
Okay, so welcome to you all. It's so good to see you all. And today we have a session with Antonia, and I will introduce Antonia later. But this will be on the evaluation posture, which is all about learning discernment. Really useful for those who could do with a bit of time before going into action. So thinking before doing. Does that ring a bell with anyone? That sort of little window of opportunity to stop and think before stepping into the next action. So a big welcome to all of you who are with us in the Zoom room. That's because you've probably bought products from us before. And there'll also be those of you on the live stream, and you can still make your comments on the live stream. And also we welcome questions within the Zoom room as well. So please do put your comments and the questions in the chat. And that's why it's really good if you do have your cameras on, if you're happy to do that. So we can have as much interaction as possible. So it feels like a real experience. But it's okay if you don't want to either. Always, choice is number one. So this session's going to be an hour long. So a whole hour looking at discernment. And in every session that we do in these masterclasses, we look at 3 things. So first of all, we look at the pose from a personal perspective of like how it is for yourself, how you could use it for yourself. And then the second part is looking at it from a coaching perspective. So how you would work with your clients with this. And the third part is working within a group setting. So that could be facilitation in the group, or it could be as a yoga teacher with your group. So three different parts of how you can apply this posture. So, and it's really nice for us to know who is actually here. So if you want to put also in the chat, are you a coach? Are you a yoga teacher? A facilitator, a movement practitioner? Really nice to see what you're all doing, and also what brings you here. What is your first thoughts around this subject of discernment, and what would you like to get from this session? So you can practice a little bit of discernment in thinking that before.
Yeah, that will be really useful for me to know who you are and in which field can you apply this, so we can more like focus on some questions for you. And also maybe you already get this feeling from previous classes how EYP works, so you can ask some useful questions as well.
Let me introduce you, Antonia.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Jumping in.
You jump in whenever you like. So we're really lucky to have Antonia here doing this session. She's an amazing trainer from Moscow, and an embodiment facilitator, trainer, and mindfulness instructor. Antonia is the main EYP representative in Russia, and she works with adult development in personal consulting, teaching specialists online and offline, and organizing embodied arts events. So I'm going to pass over to you, Antonia.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you. I'm really happy to be here and to start this week with you, with all of you who's watching this now and here and now, or will watch that in the recording. And I'm also happy to be with all the international team. So we will rock all this week all together. Yeah, and as I already said, it's really interesting who you are. Like, why are you interested in EYP? And this posture of evaluation and discernment will help us. And you can come back to this posture during all the week, like looking at the things like, do I know this already, or maybe I'm missing that? Or it's like somebody who's looking from a side to some materials, and I see here some teachers among you. So probably this posture of evaluation is quite familiar for you. I mean, this quality of evaluation. And I would ask if you can also type in the chat, like, what are the first associations with the word evaluation, discernment? What's jumping, like which words? Making decisions, choice, nice. Pause, seeing a bigger picture. Something else, maybe something about critics, like for example in my country, in Russia, this in Russian language it is always appear like, ooh, somebody will be criticizing me, and please, like, I will warn you at the beginning, like, if be careful with this posture, because postures are really simple, but also they can put you like a deeper experience and dive in. So if you are triggered by critics, or you have a strong inner critic, like, be aware in this posture, like whenever you feel it's too much, you can stop and shake it off. And I know that Masha did letting go posture before this class with you, so you can use it, let go of the critic if you don't need that at the moment. So that is like safety things to do. Yeah, so I think that from your head you are pretty understanding like what is evaluation or discernment, of course, but let us try it with the body, like with our body mind. And for those who are still without cameras, that will be really nice if you can switch on the cameras. So we in the YP method, we also look at each other's, and that could help us learn. So that could be kind of this gift to to others to be visible. But of course, it's no pressure if you don't want to. So are you ready now? Like, how are you? Yeah, let's go. I like to interact with people. So and of course, you can do this posture standing or sitting, but I will show the version in a standing format. So, and before we do the posture, I think it is good to come back more to ourselves. Like I told lots of words at the beginning. And now while you are standing, please find this vertical position. Find your feet and maybe push the ground, and find the center. You can balance between left and right leg and do like this and breathe out. Maybe put hands on your belly and come back to yourself. Like maybe put away your gaze from a computer and see your room where you now breathe in, breathe out in your natural way, how you do now, wherever you are. Yeah, you can also let go something that is not useful now for your education and attention. Maybe shake a bit, breathing, and then coming back to your body. Also a bit calming if you are really excited to learn more. And from this position, quite centered, if you find it not really centered, do something to be more here, and try to scan your body from up to down and from down to up, like how you prefer. And in discernment, we need that quality of noticing something. So while you're standing or sitting, if you're tired, you can sit. Try to scan your body and notice something. Like I can notice that my weight is more on the left, and put it back to the center position. Or I can notice that my hands are contracted and I can let them go. So now let's go together from feet and up. Notice your feet. You can notice the temperature, the pressure, the quality of fabric that is on your dress, like how it's touching your body. You can also notice every time you got distracted, you can notice your breath. And go up to your knees, noticing any sensations that are happening now in your body. Go to belly. We already did that tension today. Your spine, hips, shoulders, neck, head, your face. Maybe some muscles are contracted and you want to let it go a bit, like you can use that micro posture that Masha showed you, like and also continue noticing, like, what do you see today? You can be curious in that noticing, or you can be strict in that noticing, like, oh, again, I don't know, I'm sitting like this, or something else. Like, what is the quality of your noticing? How do you notice? Are you curious friend to your body? What do you do when you notice? Like when I'm noticing that I'm contracted, I start to shake it off. And if you need to shake something, shake it now. Uh-huh. And what are you noticing also in your emotions at the moment? Like maybe you are excited and like, let's go, let's do the posture. Why are you waiting? Or maybe, oh, that's so good. So um, in the meditation practice, we're doing this body scan short meditation to bring you more to the us to the bodies. But still, in meditation, we have the quality of noticing and discernment. Like if it is my emotion now, or I'm just cold, am I hungry, or I'm annoyed? Like this discernment of different qualities. We use that in the mindfulness practices all the time. So I thought it will be good to prepare you with this short practice before we do evaluation posture. Let's go to it finally. So we already standing, or if you are sitting, you can do the same principle. So please put your legs as wide as your shoulders. I can measure it like this. Here is my shoulders and the hips. And let's stay front to the cameras. And I put one leg back and one stays in front. And I put my weights on the back leg. So I go back. If you want, you can soften your back knee and put your feet a bit like this. So my front knee is like this, my back foot is like this. So in like a diagonal, but find a comfortable position how to put your weight on the back leg. Front leg is standing straight and looking forward. And I put my weight back and my shoulders are looking in front as well. I cross my hands here in the middle of my body and I put one hand up. You can choose the one you like and put my index finger like this and hold my chin. Yeah, I can show like this. Yeah, you can also imagine that you have beard and I don't know, stroke your beard, imaginary or real, if you have it, or hold it like this if it's more comfortable for you. Find a comfortable position in here. Yeah, and don't go too up, so your gaze is on horizon. So I'm looking on the horizontal line, but still my chin a bit up. And breathe in and breathe out. And maybe then do some noise like, like what is here? What do we have here? And notice what's happening now in your body. Is it familiar to be in this quality of, And you see, I change my back feet like this. when I feel it's too much weight on my back leg, I can change it. And maybe you can try to switch on the other side and find like what is more comfortable for you. So where in your life you in that quality? How often you go to this evaluation? Or maybe it's better to call it discernment. Like I'm looking somewhere like this or this, I'm choosing. Or what is happening now with you when we look at each other like this? Like notice your breath. Are you still breathing in this posture? And please do not forget, like if it's too much for you, you can end at any time and just shake off if you feel it's exaggerating. And if you are a teacher, where in which situations you use that? Maybe checking and students' work or looking at somebody like, this is good, this is not. And how it can be useful in your life if you don't do that at all. Like still, I'm now talking to you and I'm thinking like, yeah, where is this evaluation posture can be useful? Let's think together. You see, it helps me, but also it sometimes can be too much. For example, at the beginning, I thought like, wow, I will be teaching evaluation to all these international people. I'm not a native speaker, and they will look at me and like, what is she telling us? What is that? You know, the quality. So if it's too much and you're starting to be triggered by me, maybe that's too much evaluation, like shake it off. Yeah, but still, where it can be useful, each quality can be useful in some situations and life situations. And also I can do that seated. I saw that Jane already did that seated. Seated version can be even like this. I put my leg up like this, or just a bit closing, and also do this. And that was funny. I remember Mark came to Moscow, and we saw a man who was sitting on EYP class in this posture and looking like, EYP doesn't work. I cannot see it work. And then we came to this posture of evaluation and started to reveal like how often he's in this quality in his life. So if you who is doing it with us now, who is familiar with that, like who likes it or maybe find it a lot. I see hands, and you can also type in the chat like in which situations does this quality help you, or maybe there is too much of it. Useful in parenting. Yes, I don't have kids, but probably you are an expert here, so very familiar. I do a lot of this. And if you do a lot of this, like what are the pros and cons of this quality? Like what is possible from this position? Like, for example, I also already told you, like if I'm a teacher and I have, this is my work to notice what is done good or right or not. So I'm kind of discern. And if it's not useful, there could be, I know one situation from my colleague's practice. She's a coach, and she'd been working with the teachers and looking at them like this. So that was her task, to come to people and kind of evaluate or do an assessment, how do they work. And people they started to be triggered by her always looking like after them. Of course, it's too much. Sometimes it could be too much when you're like, what is there? Like, and also in social life, there could be a lot of discernment, for example, in social media or evaluation. We often, well, not we, but people people do that. They look at the content and they say like, yes, I like it or don't like. Yeah, so dislikes. It could be something about evaluating the content. And online dating. Yes. Yeah, in Tinder, like right, left, right, left. Uh-huh. uh uh-huh. Feels quite restrictive and narrows possibilities. This is something good. Like, what can I see from a side? I also sometimes, when do that in coaching with my clients, I use this posture to, at the end of the session, for example, let us look what we did through this hour. Yeah, and we kind of go to this meta position and picking like, okay, this I will take to my practice, and this I'm not taking to my practice. Yes, please, if it's somehow related to your trauma experience, better not to do this a lot. You can just try like taste the quality of it just by looking at other people doing it, or maybe shake it off when you feel it's too much. I do this a lot, procrastination. Well, I think procrastination is something different. It's about like, but also there could be, as we already told you, like in OYP, we have these deviations or mistakes, and we can try them seated. So procrastination will be some deviation of evaluation posture when I'm too passive, and I can go like back on my chair, and maybe close or put my hands down, like not active position. And this is in posture, so it's being aside and it's not active. The opposite one will be bringing your body forwards and be more active. You will learn this posture, like entering posture within next days, maybe even today, I don't remember. Yeah, so it is different. So here is active, and here is I'm not active, but still my gaze is active. I'm kind of picking something that I want to discern and learn. And this is also about knowing and not knowing. Yeah, so I can look at this, okay, this I know and this I don't know. And maybe during this week, when you feel yourself like too much inside the practice, sometimes you can miss the practice and just sit back and watch it as a TV and like see, and maybe you can see something different. So try to take this posture in the different situations. Like, for example, I used to be too much involved in some team conversations, and I noticed that I'm always like with this Zoom, especially, I'm always like this. I'm like, what's there? I want to see Steve and Jane and everyone there. And then I got really exhausted by this being in. And I remember this posture, like, okay, I can be a bit back. I can bring my body back and be look from a side. And when I'm looking from a side, I can see all you guys. I can see like how different you are. I can see also that is already noon here and the sun is coming down, so I can notice more. And maybe in other professions like strategic thinking, for some management or planning, this position is better than being like too much in, right? That's just my feeling from my experience. You can have different experiences, and you can add some comments if you now have some insights from this posture. Yeah, so if we go back to coaching examples, sometimes we use that with I work mainly as a coach and personal coach, and we can use it with like planning and looking at something that already done. And maybe we can look at the somebody's path in profession, or I don't know, any topic. You can take relationships, you can take work, profession, you can take friendship, you can take different concepts and have this concept, kind of put this concept on the table, or put the words on the table, and then sit like that and look, okay, he said this and she said that, or this is this, like collecting different bullet points about some topic. And sometimes when you dive in some topic, you cannot see it from a side, right? So here is like knowing it, not knowing, and also discernment, like this is good for me and this is not. And also life topics where it can be useful is, I just thought about this before preparing to this class. It can be useful in picking some food, like if I'm starting to count calories or do like food diary, and maybe when I'm going with somebody and we are eating something, and then like I can look at food and say like, okay, this is not healthy for me, I better pick this, right? And also do it with this quality, like in this salad there is dairy in this salad, so I won't eat it, for example, or something else, like if you have some restrictions. And also when you're picking some, I don't know, dress, or when you are doing some design in your interior, in your room, like putting a picture on the wall and looking like, okay, if it's good here or not. And I also remember this portrait. I don't know. I think it's very archetypical when the painter, he paints something and then he goes back and look like. You remember that from I don't know, from any movies, like anywhere, like what's here? Yeah, I will add this color here, or maybe this line will be good here. So we need that actually, like in our life, to go back and see like, okay, do some assessments of anything. Yeah, and also in, for example, in business, there could be some strategic sessions and also brainstorms. So there is like a session of creating ideas, and we have this hat of creative people, and we do bring lots of ideas, and we do not allow critics to come at that point, right? If you're familiar with this process of brainstorming. Yeah, and then the second part usually is about putting ideas like here and here, and looking at each of idea, if it's workable, if it could be done. And here critics are really useful, right? So we're coming and we doing this assessment of the things that could be done, of these creative ideas. Yeah, and that is how world works. We cannot be just creative. We need to sit and look and check if it's workable. Yeah, so if you have some other insights from here, you can share now. Isn't that too much for you? How are you doing? Like now I'm looking at you and like checking it. Okay, thank you for your reactions. Um Yeah, and here I see, for me, it's more some of your comments, and something about emotional detachment. This really can be be some of the using. Okay. And also back to this posture, we can try to feel this subtle taste of mistakes or deviations, if you would like to. So there could be some of them with the chin too up, like maybe put a chin on your finger and look way too up to the sky. There could be one that I'm not here. For example, if I'm looking at the clouds or somewhere else, like, where am I? Yeah, I'm in this position, but I'm not here. I'm like dissociation. That could be too much in this discernment, like when I'm looking from a side. Yeah, and other ones could be something like closing up, like not looking, or maybe doing like this. I'm still holding, but or maybe too much closing with your body. Like if I'm sitting, I can put like this. And yeah, in Russia, we have lots of people who are coming to trainings, but really they're not ready to learn. And from this posture, it's like a big critic sitting. I always can see on the business trainings if somebody is like too close and like, what's there? And always going away from the real, like not into process. The other one could be something like going to jokes, or maybe smiling. Like if I do like this, like what do we have here? It's like it could be kind, or maybe it could sound like what's the ironic? Yeah, like if I'm and in gossips we have that. Look at her. Look at her dress. How can she? Or something like that. You got the feeling. It's like I have a picture of two girls gossiping, like, oh, look, she went there and did that, blah blah blah, blah blah, blah, and it's like a bit hiding, and that could be too much and can be like not really nice and maybe not useful. Like why gossips are useful, I don't know. So that is deviations, and if you are noticing that about yourself, or yeah, you can notice that patterns about yourself, about somebody other, and yeah, shake it off if it's too much. But gossip is like, blah, I don't want it. I don't want a lot of this in my life. Yeah, and also I'm facing in the practice of evaluation, I'm facing that lots of women who come to me, they use this posture to evaluate how do they look like, but also that sometimes goes to border and goes to like criticizing yourself. So maybe if like I know that about myself, when I'm, I don't know, doing something, I'm a perfectionist and I want to do it like really cool. And I'm looking at myself and go into this critic position, like, nah, Tonya, that was bad, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and sometimes that's too much. Yeah, and I know that about myself. I know this pattern that appears in my life. So from this position, even from this subtle body position, this quality of, hmm, hmm, yeah, in my life that appears in my face mainly. This eyebrows go like this, and I'm like, yeah, nah, nah. And I notice that inside my body, and I'm immediately like, oh, come on, no, I'm not doing that. And like, shaking off. If I know that it is not useful for me. But sometimes people call me and say, like, Tonya, we need your expert opinion. Can you please come? So, and they kind of, they pay me money for that, for doing you know, that could be funny, right? So but the thing in embodiment practice and in EYP is like um, knowing the taste of the quality in your body, revealing it, noticing it, like, here is critics coming, do I need it now? Or maybe I will let it go for a walk. Or here is, yeah, and letting go is also already useful. Or which postures you know already, like giving. Do I need to give now more, or do I need now to make a pause? Yeah. So it could be like really simple in your life, and with the micro postures, for example. And I already started to show you these micro postures, like um, for me it's about in evaluation it's about this like tomb face, right? Maybe for you it's somewhere else. In postures, gaze and this like kind of intention is really important. So in evaluation posture, this quality and intention of keeping back from what's in front, it's one of the important things. Like, here is something and I'm keeping myself back from it. And also this gaze, like I'm looking from, usually, yeah, from up to down to something like, what is there, like, and the gaze is very precise. If you do like this, like e e, like I'm looking here, really precise, like like narrow. And if you want, you can try it again if you missed that. Yeah, and here is also with the chin. I think this is somewhere from our cultural background. Like, I remember these postures in the sculptures, like remember in Greece and Athens, they were sitting like this, like yeah, there were thinkers, like some philosophy, in philosophy they go like this often, like maybe like this, yeah. And here is in here he goes inside, but we need to go outside and like look what is there. And also for the yeah, you can try, you can see, you try it. Like, this quality of thinkers. You see, that is so cool to look at each other and like get this information, how we are familiar with these qualities of I don't know, thinkers. How often do you think? Where in life it is useful? And also this about usage of this posture, I will remind you about using that for myself. Like, you can do notes now about evaluation posture, um, where it can be useful for myself, for me. Do I tend to go a lot in critics and I need to let go of this evaluation? Or maybe I need to I don't know, to monitor and to assess my wardrobe because it's summer soon. Or maybe I do need to assess something in like my environment or my relationships. Like, how can be this posture useful in your personal life? uh, if you had pursed lips, it feels like it moves to disapproval. But still, in this posture, you keep your mouth closed, so you keep it like a bit tight. Hmm. Hmm. Not like this, but still closed. Okay. And yeah, so back to I. Yeah, we use it for our personal life. Also, we can use it for relationships and to this like we. Do I have to stay within this group? Maybe to discern with whom should I be more in contact with, or maybe like in terms of learning process. For example, you saw their, I don't know, post or advertisement of EYP week, and I bet you've been like that. Do I need that? Do I need that in my professional life, right? Or maybe, or you're looking at the schedule of this week, and you're picking like, okay, I'll take this one, this one, this one, this one, and that one I will miss. So, and back to we and relationships, that could be also about meeting new people and looking like, what is there, like when you meet somebody new and you still don't know the person really good, you can go a bit in this discernment, like, do I really like it or not? Or for example, in coaching, I got this example of like how to become closer but slowly, like if we are becoming this like more intimate, or like letting knowing each other from um, one by one, we're going slowly, and we're always looking like, is that good for me or not, like am I going further? Or maybe well, I'm doing that for myself now, because I tend to go like really quick, like shook, and not noticing, not pausing. So this is about also doing pause, like somebody mentioned today, like doing pause and looking from a side to some topic. And also in business processes, or in something when you are doing with your hands, it could be useful for something like we call it. If I'm, I don't know, doing some project and I need to plan where I will bring this project in a few next months, maybe I will see it like this and look at the like all the history of what I done, and what do I do. I also can use that for setting the goals. Like I can look at the path that I already did, and then look further and like, okay, and then go to warrior posture. So does it make sense? Like how you feel about that? Yeah. Sorry for my language. I'm just like at the end of the hour, I'm usually getting tired and could mix up some words, but still, I think it is understandable, right, Jane? If you have something to add, maybe some examples in your practice with this, you can jump in.
Yeah, definitely. When you were going through all of that, it was making me think of how it could be useful for if I find that I have a tendency to say yes to things before really thinking about whether I want to do it. So, someone says, can you do this? Yeah, okay. Can you do that? Yeah, okay, I'll do that. Yeah. So it becomes like a habit to say yes before actually stopping and going, And it's such a useful practice to become familiar with that stepping back and really anchoring into what is good for me. And that's a practice, because the first time if someone comes up to me and says, can you do this, and I go, that's interesting, I'll have a think about that, it might be really uncomfortable for me to do that. So the more that I practice it, I can then automatically, I'll think about that and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, that's kind of familiar for me as well, because I'm tend to be like like if I'm in a team or going with somebody in the process, I'm like, okay, we are going, let's go, and that's really good. But sometimes something's really couldn't be not so good for you. So this like pause and staying like, okay. And yeah, thank you, Jane. Yeah, it's really useful. And also, like back to yoga practice, you can also use this inside, like in yoga class. For example, for me, that was I practiced Ashtanga yoga, and there is an kind of willing not to look at others when you practice and like stay at your yoga mat. Yeah. And but sometimes it's really curious. I was really curious, like how is everybody doing? Like, and if I have to repeat after the teacher, for example, at the beginning when I'm learning postures, I need to look from a side, like maybe just word instructions. They could not be helpful, but I need to like, yeah, okay, and be precise, like how you put your feet, where is the weight, like where is my intention, like how do I put the shoulders, like in any yoga posture you need that actually. And also we have that question about how do I want to be, or how are you now, and this is really like mindfulness question, like about being aware, how am I and where I want to go. And of course it's, you can meet that in yoga practice, but also when you learning something new, or a teacher is saying like, okay, now we do, for example, reversed postures, and you can look at it and say like, well, like if it's for me, do I want to really go there, like in this posture, or do I really can notice when somebody, I don't know, correcting me, and I don't really need it now, like, you know, the yoga teachers who can, I don't know, cross your borders sometimes and correct you. And so this discernment helps to notice that, no, this is not good for me, don't do this, and maybe say like stop. But before you say stop, you have to notice that and say like, kind of evaluate if it's good for me or not, do I take it now or not, in any class, right? And sometimes we use this posture to practice other qualities. For example, during this week, you will see postures like being seen, or yes, or any others. And in combination of any of the posture and this discernment, we are bringing like some witnesser to the process. So, for example, for being seen, it is really important that somebody is looking at you, right? And here in this or listening you, and like being with this quality of, okay, am I taken or not? Yeah, that could be a bit different. In being seen is just looking, and here we are like like a commission of people who are deciding, right, if it's good or not. um, yeah. So as I told you now, we can use postures and combine postures and exaggerate some quality of the feeling of some situation. Does this posture has a counter or reverse posture? You mean like opposite? Like I don't really get the question. As I already told, like from the body directions, it could be if I go back, but if I go forward, and you can do like we already did that, right? The curiosity posture, like what is there? Like, too much involved. And here I go back and close myself, right? So that could be the opposite. Yeah. Okay, so I think we still have time for questions or maybe some additions. I will check. I think I told you mostly everything about this. Of course, I have lots of examples of using this posture. And yeah, here is the question. If you have a tendency to self-criticism, what change to the posture you would go? Maybe if you have a tendency to self-criticism, you can, there is different ways how you can work with it. First of all, as I told previously, noticing this small, subtle appearance of this posture. Like if you try it now, like in a big version, standing or doing like this, and then try to decrease this and make it smaller, 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 and try to go to your like real life position. Like, I don't know, maybe just sit. And what is the micro posture, micro appearance of this quality? As I told, for me it was like here in the mouth, and maybe when I'm going just back, I'm not and looking from a side. So in your life, you can notice where in your body, when in your body you do like this, do this micro things about evaluation. And when you notice them, shake them off, or breathe out, or change your posture. Like for example, I was listening to my colleague previously during webinar, and I noticed that I was like too much back, and like, yeah, well, no, I don't know. And I started to be like a bit rude in my mind, like, what is she saying, la la la. And I noticed that, and but it was like really subtle. Now I'm exaggerating to appear that for you. So, and I stood up and I changed my posture, because in Zoom, in this webinars, it's really easy to stay focused and to like not seeing other opportunities. So if you're noticing in your micro postures that evaluation starts with your eyes or with your gaze, you can do opposite. If it's about gaze, like in eyebrows like this, maybe you do wow, shake it off with your face. Yeah, or massage here. I have this wrinkle that tells me that I did previously too much of evaluation. So maybe massage this point and let it go. And the other thing about self-criticism is just not doing this posture, but do more open postures, and you will you can check these postures during this week. That could be yes posture, letting go posture. So if you know about yourself that you are really big critic of self, or I don't know, in any other situation, do other postures. Don't do this. Or when you notice that you are doing this posture, and now you have a taste of it, right? So you kind of can reveal it. I don't know, when you're going on the street and noticing that in your body, like try to notice this quality of evaluation in your body during like next day, or I don't know, next hour, or even like after this week, while you are doing something. Try to notice the taste of this, and if you don't want it too much in your life, like I said, like let go your critic for a walk. Or maybe, I don't know, find him a friend. And also be grateful for your critic. That is important here, that he is here. Maybe if you were not so critic at some point, you won't be there where you are now, right? So here he's also helpful. Or doing the posture in a supportive sandwich. Yes, if you want to practice this quality of being discern to yeah, right. To do discernment, you can also, but it could be hard for you from like past experience. You can do this sandwich practice. It is like when you take in some quality that you really like, then put the complicated posture that could be discernment or evaluation, and after that do another posture that you really like and really good at. So this is the sandwich. In the middle you put the meat. Something that is that is like not really good. Okay. And
Coming up
yeah,
to the end.
yes.
So it might be a good time to start to think about what are your key takeaway points for evaluation pose, Antonia?
Yeah, I think I already told it. Try to notice that in your real life, like when you do this taste of evaluation, and bring it to more conscious decision, like do you need that or not. And yeah, I see here a comment that with this evaluation sometimes helps, and maybe you can do that um, intentionally somewhere, because when we do not hear any of critic's voice, he could be upset. So maybe sometimes there is a place where you can let him speak. Yeah. And sometimes I do that before presentation, and in front of the mirror, and look into myself, kind of practicing. Yeah. And take it to the point where you can see pros and cons of this posture, so it will be balanced in your life. It's not about putting your critic in the cage and like not letting out. It's about balancing if where it's good or not. I think that's the most important things in in this. Yeah. And if you have some traumatic experience with that, for sure talk about it with your therapist before you go deeper in these explorations, and be accurate in these explorations. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Antonia. That was an amazing session. Thank you so much. And so just to check in with all of you, where are you left with this posture of evaluation? Was it something quite new to you? Is it something that is very known? And for me, what I'm left with thinking is where in your life do you already do this? So sometimes we can start to learn something new, and it can feel like, oh, I don't do this at all. But thinking about areas where you might, like when you were going through it, Antonia, I was thinking, yeah, I do that in the supermarket when I look at tomatoes, or I'm choosing my vegetables, or I do it when I look in the mirror and I'm just checking my face, like if I put some makeup on. So sometimes we already do it, but we're only doing it in certain areas of our life. But that was a really lovely mindfulness-based session. So with Antonia, what you were saying about it all starts with noticing first. So yeah, really thinking about where you can bring this into your life. But we're coming up to the end of the session now. So what I would really, really love all of you to do is to think about any of your friends who might benefit from coming along to these sessions. So please do give them the link so they can join in. It's really lovely to have you all here, and do spread the word for us. We would really, really appreciate that. And I think Steve is sharing the link. The thing about doing EYP is that it's this amazing practice of these postures that are very accessible and can be brought into so many different areas of your life, your personal life, your working life, as we've seen, like with individuals and also in group settings. And it's the key to it is working with the body. So we can spend so much time talking about change, thinking about change, reading self-help books, but actually practicing it in the body, noticing what goes on in the body, that is the step towards change, and the quickest and most effective way. So I just want you to think also, like, what have you experienced in this last hour? Have you had any little moments of like, oh, yeah. So have you noticed any of those changes already? Or are you going to go off and practice a little bit more? Or you might be thinking about other sessions that you've already done, or anticipating all the sessions that are to come along. And like what Antonia said, we all need to practice a little bit of discernment so we don't get overwhelmed with this smorgasbord of EYP postures available in the next few days. So yeah, please do share this with all your mates. That's really helpful to us. and let them know that this is super accessible. And when I teach this, I've taught it from to kids around the age of 8 up to people in their 80s. So it's accessible to all. I think there's, Steve, is there something that you wanted to put up? So there is a competition. Oh, here we have a video coming up.
Yeah, so there's a competition. I've posted that in the chat, and also if you want to learn a little bit more about what EYP is, I've got a short little video here for you. Yeah, the competition, if you share it, you get full access to the course. One winner will get full access to the course announced on Friday at 6 p.m. UK time during support pose, because it's supportive to have access. So here it is.
What the EYP course for coaches has to offer you is a way to shift things from getting stuck in the head and getting into the body. These very simple forms can be done in normal clothing, in any setting, anywhere, and you can then begin to look at the patterns that might be keeping your clients stuck. As a coach, I use this mostly with my clients with intimacy and relationship and communication, and as soon as I get them to move from the cerebral part of the conversation and getting them down and into their body.
See yourself as you see other people, because I have a very critical eye at the moment.
So when you sign up, there's plenty of support available to you. We have a private Facebook group that you are welcome to join. We have monthly Q&A calls, so you get a lot of ideas of how other people are using the same things.
Cool. And so thank you so much for all of you coming to this session. What we have coming up later is the next class is authority pose. So that's really useful for all about leading with confidence, and will be led by Jamie Abraham. And after that, we've also got today, is it receive? Yeah, we've got receiving and transcendence. So yes, do come along to what you feel that you would like to discern towards. So perhaps we could close with giving our best discerning face. Very good.
Thank you so much for everyone. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Steve, for support. And hope to see you again on the next sessions and maybe somewhere else, who knows? Or in the course.
Thank you so much for coming along and putting your questions up and your comments. And hope to see you again.
And a mass unmute for anyone here if you would like it.